let's go. What's up, EA? I'm gonna give a few people a few minutes to show up, if that's okay. How you doing tonight? Oh, nice. How do you feel like your stream went on Thursday? I was there for most of it, kind of just lurking. I know you were trying some new things. Really? I mean, I thought it sounded okay. Yeah, I think it sounded okay. So did you get MTET? Do you have it? I know you ordered it. I mean, do you physically have it? Yeah. That's why I like these kind of experimental streams rather than performance, because I kind of expect things to go wrong and it doesn't matter. So I have Dark Star, Flat Light, and Float, and I have Procession that's not on the board. I might put that on it at some point. I don't know what I'm gonna swap out, but curious what people are. I mean, I know they don't just have to be old blood pedals, but curious what people are gonna use them for. LVX with MTET. Oh, nice. Is it easier to use expression than just, does that have, I assumed that had MIDI in, but. It's fun, but it can be way too obvious. Yeah. That's the thing. I rewatched Andy's video today, the one that just came out earlier today. I watched it again, and I feel like, yeah, he, you know, it's good in demos to show like the extremes so that you actually can like hear what's happening. But even what he was talking about, just changing the depth controls and stuff, would be good to make the kind of movement and changes in the expression controlled functionality a little more subtle. That's always, you know, with ambient, you're always going for more subtle textures. Two things to show: the screen and the pedals. Hopefully I'll remember to switch back and forth. Probably get started at in 2 minutes. Ambient sending CC values, yeah, 0 to, right. Yeah, that makes sense. With it, have you updated Ambi recently? Is it I haven't checked, but I was curious if you've added anything or changed anything recently. Gotcha. I love the reverse. Just adds so much cool stuff. And of course now I wish it had expression out even more, but that'd be cool if they made I mean, I was thinking, what's it called? The Minimum, I think, had expression, and that's what I was using for a lot of reverse stuff. And then I sold it to get this, and now I'm kind of wishing that I still had it to be able to control some of those things with MTET, but oh well. All right, so we're 10 minutes in, so I guess we'll start. First, I need to actually plug in actually need to plug in the pedals. Good Lord. So my... Alright. I wanted to be able to show MTET on camera. You can kind of see what's happening. But all my cables are a little short, which sucks, but... So I'm running... Alright, I'm running my MIDI into MIDI box 4, which is, those are going to Chase Bliss pedals, and then I'm going to from the through of the MIDI box into MTET, and then I'm going out of the through from MTET into Microcosm. That's what that is. Then I've got on channel 1, make sure they actually turn on. Channel 1 has a float on it. Channel 2 has flat light. Channel 4 has Dark Star. I think I'm gonna grab per session. All right. Channel 3 has per session now. Wow. All right. What's up, Bo? Yeah, as you can tell, things are kind of a mess right now, but just wanted to be able to show how stuff is connected. Yeah, so one thing I realized is when expression, it actually is 3, so I've got this drawer under here. I thought, yeah, this is level 1. I've got 8-step. Yeah, and then this is level 2, and this is level 3, and over here is 3.5. I don't know. So I realized when you plug in expression, when you plug something into the expression, I'm gonna turn my mic down a little bit. When you plug into expression on float, it seems to stop moving automatically. Like it's like looking for expression, which I thought was interesting. I don't think. Well, let's see. Okay, so. Oh yeah. The expression must be controlling the rate. So that's interesting about old blood pedals, is once you plug something into the expression, it assumes that is taking over control. Even though I'm not sending anything yet, it basically like is disabling the speed knob. And for float, it like disables the whole thing, because I mean, essentially, you can do the manual controls, but it disables the rate, which is what the whole pedal is an expression ramping thing happening. So that's like the weird part. It feels like it's not working because it's not doing anything. But this is just using whatever the control is at. All right, the next thing I have to do is set up some stuff in Ableton for that. All right, so I want to put that. I want to send this to channel 10. So I think this is the plugin. The plugin that's free on their website. If you go to oldbloodnoise.com and click on this pedal, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it says, "Are you in Ableton Max for Live? User download this free controller here." And then it doesn't go to a page, it literally is the download file, like right there. You click on it, it downloads it. You said, if I remember correctly, you can set what knob. Yeah, there are certain, each pedal has like some controls that can be. Like, I think it's, I forget. But it's an internal dip switch, so I'm not gonna change any of that now. I think control 1 and reverb, maybe it's, or I should say or, but those are the 2 options. I think on Sunlight, which I don't have anymore, I think that's the one where they, like, all of them can be changed to, because it's a combination where you like hold down, the switches and then whatever one you turn or something. But these older ones are a dip switch internally, or some kind of thing internally. So yeah, I'm just gonna use whatever it's on for now, just to try it out. Because I don't even know. I haven't opened up Flatlight. I have opened up Procession and Darkstar a few times. I don't know what float is either, so that's why I have hopefully the manual for that somewhere. Just nope. Well, whatever. I can find it online if I don't have it. But yeah. So it's set to channel 1, and I want to change it to 10. This is used to set there's one MIDI CC100 is used to set MIDI's MTET's MIDI channel. Using CC100, use any value from 1 to 16. Okay, so it should have blinked. Let's try it again. Set to 5. Oh. All channel. Not going. Oh, MIDI output. Duh. Yep, alright. You didn't see that. So I'm gonna switch to the board and look at these lights. These lights are gonna blink. Gonna show. I'm really just walking through this so people like have a decent idea of what to do when they get one. All right, so right here, it's kind of small, but right here there's this is the MTET controller from Old Blood Noise. You have the sliders for each channel, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can set the channel here. I want to put it on channel 10. And channel 10. And as soon as I click the button, you should see them all light up. Ready? Here we go. There we go. So I needed to set it to the current channel. So now in order to send it, you can see that lighting up, right? All these light up and blink. That's how you know I'm now sending on channel 10. Cool. So get rid of that. The cool thing too, like with the MIDI tracks and then corresponding to MIDI channels, is it's all got to be 1-to-1. So for each 4 MIDI cables going to 4 MIDI ins on the Chase Bliss pedals, each one of those has to be its own track. And then designated like what channel it's on for it to connect a similar way. So like I have Mood on channel 1, Thermi on channel 2, and Blooper on channel 3. So I'd create a MIDI track here and change it to MIDI 1 for the Mood, right? Whereas this, you only need one channel. You can only have it on one channel. I mean, I guess you could have it on separate channels. You just have to load multiple instances of this, because this is the key thing that's gonna be changing. It's gonna be responding to the changes sent from the LFOs. So here's a basic LFO MIDI plugin for Max for Live. And so what this is the basic one. This is not the one that Andy was using. So I'm going to show you that one, but I just want to start with something simple. All right, so you click map, that's blinking, and whatever I click over here is going to now be controlling, this LFO is going to be controlling. So I'm going to click 1. Now you can see it's automatically going up and down, corresponding to the sine wave that's going up and down. If I change it from a sine wave to a square wave, you'll see it jump. I'll slow it down a little bit. Jump up and then jump down. If I put it on triangle, which is different than a sine, because a sine is, you know, a loop. A triangle is just straight up and down. That LFO value now going up and down is going to mimic, you know, the physical turning of the knob all the way from 0 like that. All right, I'm kind of going, I know you guys probably understand this, but for anybody else who watches this in the future, I just want to explain kind of what's happening and walk through it. So now what I was saying is, the nice thing is I can put another LFO, map that to number 2. And now we have two different, now I have 2 different LFOs controlling channel 1, channel 2, different types of wave, and I can change the depth. So individual control, basically. You could also control, if I get rid of the map, you can have, I could map all of 4 of them. If I just wanted the same thing, you can have up to 8 maps. So I can map 4 things from one control, and you can see they're all going up and down simultaneously. So that's cool. If I wanted, like, if I had 4 different delays and I wanted to sync them together, essentially, without being dependent on the tempo of the project, and to be able to control it separately, that's how you could do that. All right, so now we've got 1 and 2 going separately. What's on 1? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm gonna do a third one because that's actually, yeah. Let me just do all 4. Map 3. Map 4. Okay. And then, yeah, so if you want to X out, there's a little X here. I know that's probably tiny, but if you just click X, that removes the mapping, and then it stops moving. All right, so the other things are, if you drop down the depth to like 25%, instead of getting that full 0, like we were talking about ambi going from 0 to 127, now it's instead of going all the way up and all the way down, it's just going a little bit. The depth controls the how far apart, you know, the peak and valleys are, and then offset, if you wanted to lower it, now it can be lower, or offset higher, it can be higher. So essentially what I'm doing is, instead of going like this, I'm just going like this, and then offset is like going like this. So you can really control a lot more subtle movement just by doing that. So, but first, I just want to make sure this is working. So I have a sine wave on LFO 3 is going to... Oh, that's cool, because these are also blinking that they're getting data, which is really nice. But this tells you that all your connections are working. Like the bottom lights up is that MIDI is receiving, being sent power, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 are all blinking because they're all getting CC messages converted into expression values. So that's cool. And they're blinking, changing in time. If I were to switch 4 to a square wave, it should just blink. Yeah, it's not blinking on and then off. You can't really see it. There you go. It's not blinking on and staying on and then off and staying off. It's just blinking once to say it's on and then blinking once to say it's off. So it's lit up based on the messages being sent, not in accordance to the values that are being sent, if that makes sense. If anything I say doesn't make sense, feel free to let me know, but hopefully you're following. Yeah, so it's working. You're hearing the you're hearing the speed knob slow down and then speed up. And that's in concordance to this third one here. So the rate is not the rate of the speed of the tremolo, it's the rate at which the tremolo knob, the speed knob, is being turned to faster or slower. If I slow down, it's slowing down the turning of the knob. If I go turn it up, yeah, that's even kind of too fast. There you go. So what I'd like to do is like have the depth go down. So now it's just turning between like 40% and 60%. And if I want to slow down the whole thing, and I promise there's something even cooler coming that's gonna blow your mind. Just hang tight with me. Because this is a simple LFO plugin, but there's a cooler one that I'm gonna show that has even more features. So basically right now I'm just confirming that each one is gonna control a thing. Try to figure out what that thing is. So I kind of know what I'm navigating. So now I'm gonna try to figure out Dark Star. You know what? Dark Star should be in pitch mode. That should be easier to tell. I think I changed it to reverb instead of pitch. It can. So what you're gonna hear is the reverb knob going all the way up and all the way down. The reason the reverb is dying out I should slow it way down. Potty mouth. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm ramping the reverb, not the mix, but the reverb like amount. So I think pitch mode with the octave up, you can hear that it's dying out now because we're going down. You can hear that didn't last as long when we were all the way down. So this is, I like this because this is more subtle. It's basically mixing in the reverb on a slow wave. So that's cool. All right. Let's see what flat light is doing. Is this mix? I wonder if this is mix. Wait, you can click that orange button instead of having to like cancel the connection. If I just want to turn it off, like pause it and kind of power it down. Yes, I can. I went into that a little bit in the beginning. I'll go over it quickly again. So I have MIDI box 4. This guy is sending MIDI to MIDI pedals. For the old blood pedals like float, flat light, procession, and dark star that don't have MIDI in, it's translating the same CC values, the same signals that MIDI can send to a MIDI pedal to a pedal that has expression only and not MIDI. So I'm running MIDI out from my computer to my interface to the MIDI box 4, and then I'm running the MIDI box 4 to MTET. And so that's how the MIDI signals are, the MIDI messages, I should say, are getting there. So yeah, it allows you to use MIDI, which is what we're doing here, sending the LFOs to this controller. This is the MTET Max for Live plugin for Ableton that is free on Old Blood Noise website. All the way down here. You need Max for Live and you need Ableton, obviously, but other than that, this plugin is free. And then these MIDI LFO plugins are free. So this is giving me control using what would normally be reserved for MIDI capable pedals like Chase Bliss pedals, making them be able to receive, instead of just a ramper or a slider. This is like the next, like slider was the first, iteration here, where you're literally going up and down to control externally, a knob that would be controlled otherwise by having to physically just go like this while you're playing. You only have so many hands, so to play with 2 hands and then to be able to control 4 different pedals automatically is what we're doing. So the ramper is just able to kind of translate just very basic, similar to what we're doing here, very basic MIDI, and we're going to get a little more complicated in a couple minutes. That's going to like blow your mind because it blew my mind. But just showing it here is kind of how we're getting started. These MIDI effects plugins are on this MIDI channel. This MIDI channel is sending MIDI messages to my interface, which is sending it to the MTET on channel 10. So you're caught up. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty sure it's controlling the shift knob, which is what I wanted. So that's good. We're on 2. So I want to try square wave. One thing this does have that the ramper doesn't have is random. So you could probably tell a little bit better on, again, it's probably easier to explain it if you missed this part. We're basically ramping the speed knob on procession. So it's going from a slow speed of the tremolo to a fast speed of the tremolo, back and forth. This has a random, So it's basically, instead of a wave or a triangle or a sign or a what's it called? Up and down, whatever. It's every couple seconds. It's just gonna jump to a different speed. So that's cool. That's something the ramper pedal can't do. I think it just has... Yeah, it just says triangle, square, and then push button. So even so far, we have more options in terms of just what ramping capabilities we have. Now we're doing float. I'm turning resonance up just to kind of exaggerate the effect. So now, and what we're going to see in a minute is float doesn't have tap tempo, right? So you can't sync it. You could try, but you can't perfectly sync it to a specific BPM. This is random. It's exaggerated again. Again, for this I would probably turn the depth way down. Now you get just a wah wah, like a really subtle instead of more extreme. And so it just makes, even if this is all there was, it is so much quicker to control those changes. Like that took me 1 second compared to a ramper. You gotta switch all the values, right? And then save it, and then you're stuck there. This I could create 10 different presets and just jump around really quickly and easily. So it just makes that process a lot faster. Now, I'm gonna get rid of all these. And this is the MFA MIDI LFO X, which is also free. What's cool about this is it doesn't do anything. As you can see, they're not automatically changing anything yet. I'm gonna map them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are only gonna go when your project is playing. As soon as I hit plus or play. Are you getting? Yeah, okay, you're not getting my not hearing it either. Alright. Now they're all going together because by default they are listening to the tempo of the project. If I speed up the tempo of the project, not yet. There we go. couple things I need to do first. I need to switch it to listen to the tempo. And then even for the tempo, you can have these different options. So if I want number 4 to go twice as fast as these 3, you can see this one is going exactly twice as fast. I had an idea to send tempo via volante back to DAW. Yeah, I mean, if it allows you to do that, I guess that could work. I like having the DAW be the source of the tempo though, because that's, if you're recording a project, that's essentially what you're going to use for the tempo is going to be set there. So I'd rather have everything listen to that. If I wanted number 3 to go 4 times as fast, so you can see these are all different, except for 1 and 2 are the same. Number 3 is 4 times as fast, and they're all perfectly synced up to the tempo though. So then if I change number 4 to be a triangle, it's going to be a triangle, but double the speed of the sine of 1 and 2. So that's really cool. Now, again, I have depth control. So we're still hearing float, right? If I take depth down to like 50%, it's a little more subtle. And then I can offset it down or up. So now it's just in that higher range going less. So really quickly, I'm doing the same thing. Now, this is the part that I'm really excited about. These MIDI LFO plugins have a probability thing right here, 100%. So if I go back to default settings here, if I put probability down to like 50%, now it's gonna use chance for whether or not the wave is gonna be going. So when it's yes, it goes, and now you see it already flattened out. Now it's going up and down. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Probably need to lower the percentage. So now, instead of just being a constant, it's using probability to decide when to even turn the effect on and off automatically. Which I really like, because now it creates that much more unpredictability. You're gonna have it ramping sometimes, and then sometimes just not doing anything. So that was a really long time that it wasn't doing anything. So again, if you're doing ambient music and you have a loop going in the beginning, and then you have all these pedals that are doing different ramping characteristics, and then also your probability is low, you're going to have a lot more variation in your evolving patterns. So yeah, exactly. Yep. So I love this plugin. It's got the extra stuff because not only is it synced to your tempo now, but so like if you were live looping again, that opens up a whole other thing, because I could live loop like different sections or record, you know, into different scenes or whatever they're called, and have those jump around randomly, right? The loops jump around randomly. And then have the ramping expression control be a random. If I changed the sign to random, it's gonna sit and not do anything for a while. Exactly. That is what I love about this, is the rampers are cool, but they are way too predictable and limited. So as soon as I got a ramper, my mind went to here, to like, I want more control over what the ramper is doing. And this gives me that. So I have more ramp type styles. I can control the depth and levels, range, I guess. I can sync them to different tempos, or yeah, sync it to the tempo at different rates, 1 measure, 2 measure, etc., etc. And then I can also add probability that the ramping is even happening versus not happening. So for a while, you just might get float. Like, this would be a cool thing on the Darkstar, is just to have it kind of sit for a while at a certain value. And then every so often, it's just gonna jump to a different place. So it's not even ramping, it's just completely randomized expression control on a specific knob that has been set to be the one to, if I had that on pitch, it would be cooler. Gonna do it on precession, just because it's a lot more noticeable. Yeah, so consistent and consistency is essentially like what I've been wanting to get out of playing a live board, and until now that was only possible with MIDI enabled pedals, and now it's possible with any pedal that has expression. Yeah, so we talked about that before. It depends on the pedal. Like Darkstar and all the ones I have, there's an internal like jumper or internal like switch. So if you unscrew the bottom, you can slide it and it'll pick a different thing. And then on Sunlight, they made it so that it's like the interface where instead of having to open it up, you can just like hold down the two things and it kind of like goes into the mode of which, and then you just kind of like turn the knob and it's like, okay, this is now, and I think you can even select multiple knobs to control. So Sunlight is built a little bit differently, but generally the answer to your question for most of them is yes. Now with this pedal coming out and having them done that in Sunlight, my guess would be all new pedals from then on, and they might even make like new versions of these pedals, or just a different type of delay and reverb, you know, that has that stuff built in. That would be cool. Yeah, it's consistent, and consistency is this part, and then controlled chaos is the other part, and you want to find a balance where they are playing together in a musical way. Because like generative, sounds like ambi, the thing that's actually creating the sound, if it's too random, it's not as musical as somebody playing intentional notes, right? Or even a loop that then you're applying an effect to. So I think what's cool, I can manually control these when it's not being ramped. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's a good philosophy, Ken. You have your pads as inconsistent, melody consistent. That's a good merging, like, of those two concepts, right? So that you get musical familiarity in your melody, and then something that is kind of in the background. You want to be more inconsistent so that it doesn't get boring and repetitive and the same. You have happy accidents happening in the background. I think that's a really good approach. So I like that I can have loops. I like that I can give Ableton more control, but that I'm deciding what that control is of the pedals, so that I can focus more on what I'm playing and the overall sound, and not having to be worrying about constantly like tweaking every pedal to kind of create those changes. Yeah, you can't. So I know Guille was actually asking that question in the video, in the Old Blood Noise video. Ken, so, well, you didn't ask a question, but you said, like, I may need to get 2, and you can actually, you could just daisy chain 2 together. You could go from the through out into the in of a second one, and then you'd get 8. But yeah, I could see if they made an 8, that would be cool too, because then you don't have to have power 1. But yeah, so this is where I'm at. This is the first time that I've been playing around a little bit in live and setting things up and trying to figure this out. But this is the first time I've actually plugged the pedals in and had them like doing their thing. So I guess, does anybody have any questions or things they want to see at this point? But yeah, you could so the MTET has 16 channels, so you could theoretically daisy chain 4 together and set, or no, you could, yeah, I guess could you daisy chain 16 together? And then that would give you 16 times 4 pedals that you could control. Because for each channel has 4 outputs. So yeah, that's essentially unlimited in a sense. More than would be normal. Multi-control per expression. Yeah, so like I said, I think like Sunlight is the only Old Blood pedal that you can currently do that with. My guess is that now that they're invested in this concept, that if they're still thinking in that direction, that all new pedals will have the ability to, without having to take them apart, which would be really nice. have the ability to select any knob as expression control and also multiple knobs. Let's look at it actually. Because that's sunlight. I think, I mean, like, the new Black Fountain might have that. I don't know. Let's see. Sunlight. Yeah, alt foot switch. Oh, no. Expression control over input, decay, rate, and depth parameters. So everything but mix. Dark Star. Yeah, it has the output. Where's the manual? I wish they would link the manual on the individual page. That would be nice. And I was saying too, I wish that BL88 now, I mean, I know why they don't put expression, but to be able to expression ramp the clock knob would be amazing. What did I say? 44, the reverse. These numbers are already confusing to me. All right. Expression is used to control one or reverb. Yeah, so by plugging in an expression with TRS cable, you bypass the knob in order to change the parameter on the fly. There's a switch inside the pedal to change which knob is controlled. So yeah, you get two options. See what Black Fountain is. Expression in Black Fountain is controlled. Time, feedback, or both. Yeah, you hold down the buy. Yeah, so this hold down the pedal thing is how you... oh gosh, they really need to standardize these. This is how you enter into, like, the settings. Expression, switch inside, shift, and rate. So shift and rate on flat light. Interesting. What else? Float. Oh my. Where is it? Expression. Float is such a interesting concept. I'm still wrapping my head around it, but I'm really glad I didn't sell it before I got this MTET thing. You can control rate or cutoff on each filter. It will move between the minimum and selected. Let the expression hold the foot switches. Yeah, so it looks like all their newer stuff, instead of being an internal switch, it's just a thing where you hold down the foot switches and then goes into calibration mode. So it would be cool. You know, to have more pedals with that option, whether they with the, obviously they're going to create new pedals, or with updating, you know, the older ones. Limit the control. That was another thing Andy mentioned. So I was thinking with the float, you don't have to change the depth if you're ramping. You're ramping a sine, you know, 0 to 127. is this not go? Oh, there we go. If you're ramping up, down, and you go to the pedal and you set your min to like here and your max to here, that supersedes the depth. 100% depth is now operating within that range instead of the full range. So you can hear now, hopefully, we're in that upper register, even though the depth is at 100%. The depth is at 100%, and the ramper here is going all the way up and down. Because I set the limits on the pedal to be from like here to here, that is setting the upper and lower limits. So that's really cool because it gives you a little bit of control back to the pedal itself to change that on the fly, which I like. Yeah, so something else Andy was doing with, I think, the tremolo on procession and the float was having a faster and so now you get that, you can hear the changing of the speed of the tremolo, but then because the float is cutting out those frequencies, you get that really cool overlay. Yes, that was the goal, Guille. Now if I switch to filter, sawtooth with a drop, yeah, we can do that. Oh, wrong way. Not hearing my click right now, but I also don't want to send it, so it's fine. Just, I guess, trust me that we're in time. That is pretty cool. Now with everything on, Cool. So I think like all we've been doing is looking at the old blood petals and once we start adding back in the looping stuff and the Chase Bliss pedals and ramping those things, you know, then we can start doing some really fun things. I'm really wondering if flat late, I gotta check that again. Flat late. Yeah, rate, okay. Oh well. Yeah, I've also had Polymoon and Immerse on this whole time too. All right, so I'm sine waving, float. But the other thing is I can rename these. Oh, sorry, you didn't see what I was doing. You can rename these, like, so I could put dash float at the end, so like without having to remember what number is what. You know, just from looking at them, I could be like, oh yeah, that's float, instead of having to remember the numbers. It'd be cool if on this thing you could label the inputs 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think you can. Yeah. That would be a cool feature, maybe under here to like write the name of the pedal that it's controlling, but that's really all I had planned for today. Cool, yeah. Thanks for hanging out. I think I'm gonna stop here. If that's all right. Yeah, I don't want to go too late on this. To rate LGP music. It's the only one I have on right now. Or you know what? I think I'm just gonna end it. I think there's only you two here. So yeah. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. This VOD will be up on Patreon, and I'll probably put some clips up on YouTube and stuff in the future as well. So I definitely want to make a more like intentional with notes kind of walkthrough of this, but now that I have it figured out, I can do that a lot better. So thanks for hanging out, and see you guys in your streams soon, hopefully.